Hello, this is Lill and welcome to my channel. There's actually another free game today now on LBRY Games. It's Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars, the director's cut. So you can claim it by clicking on this one and logging in, and you can get it permanently if you do that. So, but hurry on all of these because every one of these are pretty low time limit on it. So we will check it out as well, but it says adventure, point and click, and detective mystery. I actually played this when I was younger, but because of the time limit, I recommend claiming it before you see further in the video. But let's check it. Alright, let's try Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars, director's cut.
Paris, city of love, romance, and dreams. So they say. I used to say it too, but ever since that day, the day of the murder, I've always associated my beloved Paris with death. I was at home having a bath when my editor called.
Collard, get your ass over to the Palais Royal now. You got an interview. With Pierre Carchon. Yes, the Pierre Carchon. No photos, so leave your gear at home. He asked for you personally. Don't ask me why. Anyhow, this could be big, so if he makes a pass, don't forget. Just smile, say yes, and keep taking notes.
So charming and so very apt. Pierre Carchon was a media king, a national hero, and one of the most infamous adulterers in Europe. He and his wife Imelda were just one step down from royalty. Whoa, I hate mimes, but unless you humor them, they don't go away.
Creepy.
Here I was, the palace of the Media King and the Ice Queen. I pressed the doorbell and set in motion a chain of events which would change my life forever.
Yes? What is it?
Madame, my name is Nico Collard. I'm here to see Monsieur Carchon.
Come up, we're on the first floor.
Madame Carchon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm sure.
The Ice Queen was certainly living up to her reputation. Will you be staying for the interview?
Mademoiselle, I know little of my husband's business affairs, and I care even less. I certainly have no intention of watching him pore over yet another pretty little journalist.
Pretty? You're too kind, madame.
The talented and very beautiful Mademoiselle Collard. Such a pleasure to meet you at last.
Monsieur Carchon, I am honored.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Call me Pierre, please. But I do not flatter you idly. I was a friend of your father. He was a great man.
My father, he never mentioned.
He and I were very close. And then his death. So tragic. I must...
No!
Imelda, your damned cat's in my study again. Another Ming vase, I suppose. Excuse me for one moment, my dear girl.
You journalists are getting younger each year.
Perhaps it's the rest of the world getting older, madame. That was no cat.
God, what? Monsieur Carchon!
Oh, why would you do that? Don't trust mimes.
He's dead. I must call the police. You'd better stay here.
There was a man. It was the mime. Do you think he...
Well, I believe we can rule out suicide, don't you?
No wonder they called her the Ice Queen. She would have been top of my list of suspects if I hadn't seen the attacker myself. And if I hadn't come across a couple of murders just like this already. One of the most important men in Europe murdered. And here was I, Nico Coulard, alone at the scene of the crime. Should I wait for the cops? Or start my own investigation? It was a no-brainer.
I can see her.
The bookcase was filled with obscure first editions. It contained rows of titles I didn't recognize. Programming the Z80 by Rodney Sachs. Ah, the romance, the drama, the great classic novels had a lot to learn.
There's like sheep sounds here. I wonder if the text is bigger if I would have it in small resolution. Original.
It contained rows
Yeah.
of titles I didn't recognize.
Yeah, that's better. So if I now force it to full screen, oh, no, I'm not able to do that. I thought, oh there, Alt Enter is forcing to full screen. So I think it should
contained
be...
rows
oh,
of titles I didn't recognize.
never mind. Let's play it small then.
A bust of Pierre Carchon, humble servant of La France. Mimes and guns don't usually go together, but I had an idea that this was no ordinary mime. I'd come across this murderer before, and written about him. The costume killer, at least that's what I'd called him. Some people hate searching corpses for clues. Me, I'm okay with it. Reminds me of an old boyfriend.
No. There's a pin here.
It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. It must have fallen when I was knocked down.
That's a weird thing to comment on.
In his pocket, I found a ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. Taking the ticket meant I'd tampered with the evidence. There was no going back now. Carchon had been shot. I closed his eyes. It was the least I could do for the poor fellow. I opened his eyes. Best to leave the crime scene as I found it.
Well, I guess I should leave it open so they wouldn't know I had tampered with it. Guess I can go out.
Pierre Carchon again. His eyes seemed to follow me around the room. A small round piece of glass had been cut out of the pane. This was a professional job. I didn't want to cut myself and leave blood on the glass. Call me old-fashioned, but I like to keep my DNA to myself. The killer must have used a ladder to reach the window. He was long gone. Guess he folded that ladder up, popped it in his pocket and took it with him.
Is this book? No, I'm guessing that's just the same thing.
It contained rows of titles I didn't recognize. A bust of Pierre Cauchon.
Guess we clicked everything here now.
The police could turn up at any minute. Somewhere there were clues to the murder, and I needed to find them.
Use an inventory item on a background object, click on that item and hold the mouse button. While continuing to hold the mouse button, drag the item over a hotspot to release it. It highlights a gold outline.
No. It was a boat ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. When I was a little girl, Papa used to take me on the Bateau Mouche as a treat. It was one of my hair clips. My favorite, in fact. A beautiful cloth had been draped over the table. It was embroidered with an unusual cross. I reckoned that cloth might just turn out to be useful.
Oh.
Even my fingernail wouldn't fit into such a small hole. There was a tiny hole in the tabletop. Part of the inlay had been chipped away.
Gonna try this one.
Aha! Nico, you are just so damn good at this stuff. Instead of comforting Imelda, I was ransacking her flat. Why? Because there was something going on here, and I had to get answers before the cops arrived. And hey, she'd been rude to me, so she had it coming. A key. Maybe a safe key. A medieval pageant. Original, no doubt. The tapestry must have cost a fortune. The door was locked. A fine Baroque door. It would look great in my apartment.
I forgot that it seems like you have right click and left click. I don't know if this would do any difference. No, I guess not. Not of him. Let's go out here again.
It was a tube of acrylic paint. French ultramarine. Just the color I was after for my bathroom.
I'm sorry, I have to go. Someone is...
Young lady, what are you doing? Oh, this paint. It's my favorite color.
For God's sake, keep the damn stuff.
Such a weird thing to do after this happening.
Imelda had talent, but I certainly wasn't going to tell her that. Even the telephone was antique. Never trust anyone who owns a phone like that. Imelda looked shocked, but still every bit as hostile. Excuse me, madame.
Yes?
And talk about the mime.
Why would a mime want to kill your husband?
Pierre had plenty of enemies. Half the husbands in Paris for a start.
How did your husband know my father?
I have no idea.
You didn't know him? Thierry Coulard?
Pierre knew a lot of people I didn't know, most of them women.
I am so sorry for your loss, madame.
No, you're not. You're a journalist. Journalists don't feel sorry.
Not true.
We shall see.
Why did your husband send for me? What did he want to discuss?
I have no idea. His business was his business.
He never told you anything?
No, and frankly, I preferred it that way. This is quite a scoop for you. I suppose you're already inventing the headlines.
Just because I am a journalist.
Don't patronise me. You're all cut from the same cloth. Do you have any moral sense at all?
I can do choices here.
Yes. That's why I do this job.
You do it to see your name in print.
As if. My editor gets the byline, I just do the work.
Well, don't expect my sympathy.
The police will be here soon, madame. Is there anybody you would like me to contact? Family, friends?
No, I have no family. Pierre and I were... He was all I had, really. Not much, was it? The dutiful wife. That was my role. He never talked, never let me in.
I know one thing, madame.
What?
If you want to find out who killed your husband, then you let me do the job, not the police.
Why? How do I know I can trust you?
I wonder what happened if I do the evil one, but I feel so bad.
Your husband invited me here today because he needed me. I think he knew somebody wanted to kill him, and he knew I could help.
I doubt it was your database he was after.
You're wrong. I was onto his killers already, I am sure of it. Please, you owe it to him.
I don't know.
All I need is a few more minutes to look around before the police come.
You really do have a moral sense, don't you? I trust so few people. And perhaps Pierre really did think that you could help. Of course it wouldn't have stopped him seducing you, too. Here, take this. It's the key to the drawing room next to the library at the end of the hall. It was Pierre's room. I rarely went in there. I couldn't. I was too scared of what I might find.
Thank you. I promise you won't regret this.
Oh yeah, this is just a recap.
There was no one I needed to phone. Not until I had solved this case. Imelda had talent, but I certainly...
Well, now you got a little bit more friendly with her.
The door was...
She used the key.
Now we were getting somewhere. I didn't need the lights on. It was light enough already. The painting showed the Cachons together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
There's a button there.
The Cachons. Noblesse oblige. The painting was attached firmly to the wall. The Cachons.
I want to see the dogs.
There was the very faintest of clicks. Behind the picture was a safe. The safe looked pretty secure. The safe was locked. I needed the key.
I think I have that. Oh, did it work?
There was a strange stone cylinder in the safe. In the safe was some kind of artifact. There were strange symbols on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read. I needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Cachon was past caring.
Oh, it's so cold. Can use the blue color though.
The sofa was antique. For one horrible moment, I had an image of a naked Cachon wriggling around on it with a young journalist. Oh.
Oh.
This wasn't the time for me to lie on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression, though it is very popular at parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why.
What? Let's click here.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision. The in tray, like everything else in this place, was beautiful. One day I was going to have an in tray like that, even if I had to sell my apartment to pay for it. My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant. It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin, carved into a box he had made. So Carchon had known my father. They really must have been friends. I decided to take the carved elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Imelda. I didn't want to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it. I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank.
Okay, so...
It was a sheet of blotting paper in a leather holder. Its cracked surface looked ancient, reminded me of its owner.
Okay, so I'm guessing we could put the paint on the
Putting
sink.
the paint straight on the cylinder would be too messy. The paint would go everywhere.
Can we put the paint here?
The paint would have just soaked into the blotting paper, but the idea was good.
Oh, this one.
I smeared the paint all over the cloth. When I do messy, I really like to put my heart into it. I hoped this was going to help. They don't make lace like that anymore. I wiped the paint-covered cloth over the surface of the stone cylinder. It took me right back to art class at school. And Maurice, my gorgeous art teacher. Such a shame they had to fire him. Ah well, concentrate, Nico, concentrate.
His character.
Genius. The roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say? A secret message had been printed on the blotting paper. It was some kind of coded message. It read, "Sub judice." I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense. I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The conciergerie on the Ile de la Cité, by the river, housed the ancient law courts. So, sub judice could in this case mean literally under the law courts, below the conciergerie. I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
That's the only thing she thinks about after this accident. Or not accident. This event. There anything else? Can I do more here? Probably not. Yeah, let's go out.
Locked, not surprising really. It was a back door. It was the beautiful elephant my father had carved.
Can I use the clipping thing? Okay. Well, I guess I have what I need. Don't think I need to do anything more in here.
This carving, do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend, something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No, but I think it was important to him, always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
He's probably not gonna show it to her.
Imelda, I will do everything I can to find the killer.
Thank you, my dear.
And if the police ask,
Don't worry. You were never here.
sub judice was the key. I was going to have to find a way under the conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the conciergerie, it would have to be from there. Canchon wasn't the type for messing about on the river. He was up to something down here. Something that got him killed.
Okay, I guess I could end it there because I've gotten to show a little bit of the game. I did play this earlier. I think it was a pretty good game. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you had a super good day, good evening, or good night. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see more of the upcoming games that's free, then subscribing will help. I'll try to help you remind you about them. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.